Hey folks, my name is Maria Carroll. I am 36 and I live in the greater Cincinnati area. I wanted to talk a little bit about little things that are really big things. And to give you some background on this, a few years ago I left a career that I absolutely loved, doing disaster services with Red Cross because of my health. I had moved to Tennessee from Ohio for a couple of years for the position I was in, and I was really depressed, and I put on over 75 pounds while I was there in like a year, and ended up at 425 pounds by the time I left. I had become severely ill. I had sleep apnea and didn't know it, so I was incredibly sleep deprived, and that caused me to lose memory and horrific mood swings and all sorts of stuff that affected my ability to do my job and my professionalism. And it really made me feel like crap. And then I was also in a lot of pain. When you weigh that much, if you're not in pain, it's a damn near miracle. And I already had pain before I left because I was already a big girl before I left, you know. So I came home and decided to focus on my wellness, and the shock of having to leave this job to take care of me it put my well-being front and center, which it had never been my entire life. I had a hard time learning this concept, and I'm still having a hard time learning this concept because it was not instilled in me as a child that my well-being was important and that self-care is important. And not self-care as in, oh, let's go grab a glass of wine with some bath bomb is kind of important, but treating yourself with respect, and that includes what you do to your body and put in your body. I have, a lovely history of mental health issues with bipolar disorder, borderline personality disorder, and I'm a recovering alcoholic of 8.5 years. Treatment has been amazing. It didn't get to me until late in my adult life, about 30 years old. And before then, alcohol was my medication. So I feel like a completely different person between then and now, which is a beautiful thing. And I had put my mental health and my mental wellness at the forefront. And then when I came home, it was time to put my physical health on the forefront. So at least I had everything together mentally in order to take care of myself physically. I mean, we still all have our days, we have them, but at least I had enough wherewithal to handle this bit by bit. I started doing Aqua Therapy for my pain, which if you have pain, Aqua Therapy is amazing. Don't be self-conscious, get into the pool because your girl was so worth it. And everybody else there is just like you anyway, just like me. Don't worry about it. Get a comfy bathing suit, you'll be fine. If you're a guy, you don't just have to do trunks, you can do a top. I suggest it, do it. Because I was mobile again. Before then, I couldn't walk through the grocery store without crying. I couldn't even walk, I'd go into Kroger, the grocery chain here, and in Tennessee. I'd have to give myself a pep talk before going in. And I'd go in, and I could only get to the produce deli and bakery that was right there. And then I would be crying all the way back to U-Scan and out to my car. And I'd have to sit in my car for almost an hour until my back would unlock so I can get into my apartment with my groceries. It was horrible. And now I can walk around, Kroger for an hour with no problem. And it's just delightful. It's one of those little things that is actually a very big thing. To be able to go grocery shopping without crying. Little thing that's a big thing. Things we take for granted. Things that I took for granted. And after I started limpering up a little bit and was able to go for a walk again, my first hike I cried. It was amazing. And then I was invited to join a it's not a weight loss support group. They call them centering groups at where I'm at, where my doctor's office is through UC. And it's kind of like you got like a group of people who hang out, and then it's like a class slash kind of support group in a way. But then you also have like individual, like actual doctor's appointments with it, like one on one, separate from the group. And they, weigh you and take your blood pressure and all that stuff, and kind of do a weigh in, kind of a weight check in. But you don't have to share that with the group, so that's nice. But you just kind of get taught some techniques on, how to look at things, which is good. And it was really helpful because my PCP was actually running it, and I knew him for a long time. So, like, having somebody I trusted there and whose opinion mattered to me was really important for me. And I started tackling my weight loss. And it was kind of scary because I was thinking, I don't know if I can do this. This is huge. I'm huge. This is going to take forever. And I had to stop and think, every little bit helps. Every little bit helps. And this isn't about like getting to a particular weight. It's about being healthy and not in pain. And I managed to knock out 21 pounds that first month, which it starts off fast, but that was huge for me. That was absolutely enormous for me. It gave me the most self-confidence, and I just took it and ran with it. And within 6 months, I could actually shop in clothing stores again, which takes us to our next little thing that's a big thing. I had to buy all my clothes while I lived in Tennessee, worked for Red Cross from catalogs, because nothing in the stores fit me. I was a 30 and a 32 in women's sizes, US women's sizes, which is basically pretty hefty. And they don't sell them at Walmart in that size most of the time. Occasionally you'll find a shirt. One time I found a dress. No pants. And when you're trying to work a professional job, when you're trying to have a career, that's especially hard, And I was, new to the whole career thing. Like, I'd always worked call centers and retail, and, I finally had gotten into like my career, and I was so excited. And then I was, promoted, and I get down to Tennessee, and I put on all this weight, and I'm sitting there in knit pants and a polo because that's all I can fit into, and everybody else around the table is suited up. And I'm not gonna say that appearances don't matter, because they do. They do matter because people are judging you. And when you know that they're judging you, that kills your self-esteem. It does. When you know that because of what you're wearing, they think that you're sloppy, you don't have your stuff together, they think you don't care, that you're incompetent. They make these judgments because it's like if somebody showed up in jeans and a t-shirt and, it wasn't clean or something like that, it falls under the same category to folks when they see it like that. And it's really hard. It's really hard to be able to convey, like, no, I have the mind, I have the, I can hold my own here, when people aren't even willing to give you the time of day because they've already made a first impression judgment of you. It's really hard to rewire that. So, little thing that's a big thing is being able to shop in a store. And this right here is a catalog shirt that I've had and I've kept because it's still comfy, but it's like 3 sizes too big on me. And occasionally I'll pull it out because it's like I can wrap it all the way around me. And it's really nice because after a number of months with the group that I was at, and then working with my healthcare team beyond that, I'm now 80 pounds down from when I came home. I don't hurt to walk around the grocery store. I can hike occasionally if I want to. I do have to still watch it. I still have the same issues that cause the pain, but I don't have as much weight exacerbating the pain. And that's huge. There's a number of things there that you're like, oh, okay, these are all great things, Maria. But then I started school. I bit the bullet and I did what I had to do, and my lifelong dream is going back to school, and I'm studying neuropsych and I'm pre-med and I'm excited and I'm going for it, and I kind of let everything fall again. I stopped putting myself and my self-care as the number one priority. Because if you don't take care of yourself, you have nothing to give to anybody else. When I left the Red Cross and I announced my resignation, I broke out the now kind of cliche statement of you can't pour from an empty cup. But it's true. If you don't have anything left to give, what are you going to do? So I kind of let everything slip in the stress of going back to school, working full time, and then working part time, and then starting to work full time, and 2020. And then my dad died last month. And he's the most important person in my life. It was unexpected. It was a few days before Christmas. My younger brother found him, God love him. He had died in his sleep. And my dad was the definition of the person who managed to pour from an empty cup. His generosity and his compassion and his care for others was unmatched. And now he's gone. In the blink of an eye. And none of us had any idea it was coming. So, sorry. Just could assume there's been a lot of this lately, a lot of crying. So we we kids have all been taking it differently. I have two brothers, an older and younger, and a very beloved niece. And it's all hitting us differently. But for me, it reminded me that I have to take care of myself. At 66, my dad should not have passed away. There were things that he should have been able to do to take care of himself better. We won't ever know why he actually passed, but we have some options: heart attack, stroke, aneurysm, and the possible exacerbation of prostate cancer because he refused to get checked and he had some high numbers. Most likely, it's probably a heart attack. But it's one of those things we'll never know. And so it left me with this overwhelming need to take care of me. If for no other reason, because I've got a family that I know I'm going to need to help support as we all move forward without Dad. So I took the semester off, took a short leave of absence from work, I'm going back soon, but I went back to the group. I was like, okay, I can't do this alone. And it was offered, and there I am. Virtually. It's funny, some people can't unmute themselves, and some people can't mute. And it's always the opposite of who you want it to be. But at least we're there, right? At least we're there. I started tracking my food again today. Went a little lower, but not much. Not bad for a first day trying to get back on track. And kind of need some chocolate right around this time, you know? You know what I'm saying? And so that kind of snipped me in the end here. But most of the day I did really great. And I was really proud of myself until the very end. But earlier today, I had an incident that just ticked me off and it made me feel like crap. And that is the little thing that's really a big thing we need to talk about. Why is it that the fitness industry targets people who are already fit? I don't understand this. In a country where obesity is a rampant crisis and our very structure is supportive of obesity, especially our socioeconomic structure. Whew, don't get me started. Why does the fitness industry target people who are already fit? I mean, because, they care about their fitness, they're going to continue to buy fitness products. Okay, we get this. But when it comes to the other, 50% of America who, wouldn't mind trying to do something if they had some help, why aren't they targeting them? I think it all started with my new smartwatch. I had to get it because I needed something to track my sleep patterns because they think I have narcolepsy. Yay! Another great thing, right? But it has little alerts that tell me, hey, you've been sitting on your butt for a while, get up. Like, okay. Nice little reminder. It's been an hour that I've just been sitting here. I need a stretch. My back will appreciate it. Or, hey, why don't we go for a walk? Little reminders. Like, okay, that's friendly. Not too pushy. But, now's not a good time. And then I went into the Samsung app, like the Samsung Health app. And I've been excited about this app because this watch has an ECG in it. It's got a lead in it, so it can track all sorts of things. Your heart rate and all of these different things with your sleep patterns. And I can't wait to get in there to play with it. And I'm setting up the dietary part. And I got to put in my weight. You don't get to type in your weight on that screen. You do on another one. I found another one where you could type it in. But on this one, you can't. You have to keep swiping over and over and over again on this big long number line. And it starts you off at 175 pounds. And I am 345 pounds. My finger cramped trying to swipe that many times. I was like, seriously? Seriously. And then they had another screen where it was like a little spinning wheel. You had to scroll down, which, why does anybody use those? Maybe for the months of the year, but that one sucks. Stop using it. The, that was more like The Price is Right. How many times are you going to spin this to get to where Maria's fat butt is? And I was just like, ugh. And it killed me. This is my first experience really getting into the app and using it. And I was leaving behind MyFitnessPal to do it because it would sync with my watch. And then I could put my stuff in with my watch. And I was like, I hate you. You just made me feel so fat. And I'm trying so hard not to think about how fat I am so that I don't get discouraged about how big of a journey this is going to be for me. So thanks, Samsung. I got mad enough about it that I tweeted it. I don't tweet. I have a Twitter account that's supposed to be for professional reasons. And I tweeted it. I was pissed. So, yeah. It's a little thing that became a very big thing for me. And that's not the only time you're gonna see that kind of thing. It's these little tiny things. And when you start looking, you notice them. And you're like, oh, like the different types of clothing sizes for women, plus size women in the store. It's been really aggravating me because for a while there, Walmart had a really nice selection of plus size clothing that came out for a couple years in a row. And I was really impressed, you know? And then now all I can find are sweatshirts, sweatpants, and leggings that really do not look flattering on me. And I can't speak for other women my size, but they just don't belong on this figure for me. And I'm just like, no, like, no. And this is what's supposed to be their, like, daily wear. And I'm like, they had, like, 3 decent shirts. So, all of us hefty women in Cincinnati who go to Walmart for our clothing, you know. And granted, I don't go to Walmart for my professional clothing. For my run around the house in the neighborhood doing errands clothing, I can't even find a t-shirt. Because, by the way, I am 5'9", y'all. 5'9" and 345 pounds. It is so hard to find clothing that covers all of my belly. It's never long enough. They think all of us obese women are short. And there are plenty of short women that are obese and plenty of obese women that are short. But this girl's tall and I need clothing that fits. It's just really frustrating. And shoes. Lots of cute shoes on the market. I'm a big girl though. I need arch support. None of them have arch support. And I'm like, oh, these are really cute. I like these. I'll pay the $60 for these shoes. I like them that much. Wait. No, they're flat. No, I'm not even going to try them on. No. It's really disheartening because I can walk into a store, not even intending on buying clothing there, a store like, Walmart, Target, Meijer, places like that also sell clothing, and I'll walk by, like, oh, that's cute, and I'll go up, and it will be like, well, 24 is where it stops, and I'm a 26 now, and I'm like, almost there, almost there, but, 2 years ago, I would have been really mad. I would have been really upset. And I can't tell you how many times I've broken down in the dressing room because I will try on so many things, nothing will fit. And there are things like even now I'll go in and I'll try it on. And I'm like, this says it's a 28, and I'm like, I'm almost down to a 24. Like, this is definitely not a 28. Like, I don't know which guidelines you're going off of, and that's a little thing. That's a big issue. Plus size women's clothing does not have, and really women's clothing in general, but it's really bad for plus sizes, doesn't have a regulated size. Like, you can't say all size 14s are the same size 14s. Size 26s are not the same size 26, apparently. But, I mean, man's pair of 40-inch waist pants are 40-inch waist pants. It's ridiculous. So let's keep tally. So far, I'm mad at the the fitness industry for not doing more to target people my size and make things easier for us to participate. I'm mad at, well, Samsung. Probably won't last. But I'm mad at Samsung for, their scrolly thing. And I'm mad at the women's clothing industry because they tend to make obese women's clothing look like tints. And none of it's regulated in size. I would love to see a change and how we include obese people in the fitness industry. I think even starting with like your local YMCA, and if I had the time and the energy to take this on, I would. And I've talked to people I know about this that are like, "Oh, you should do that. You could totally do that." And I'm like, "No, no, not with my schedule. Like, I got MCAT next year. No." Oh, the most important little thing in the whole entire world. It's my Ian. He's my baby. But I would love to see obesity focused and even include people who, maybe they just aren't healthy enough in general to be playing intramural sports or being, just on a general Y team or whatever. Like, have a hefty league, Like, sorry, I don't mean to offend anybody with the word hefty. It's the word my brothers and I use sometimes. So, you know, I have a hefty league. Have a league of those of us who I can, just now the past year walk around the grocery store without being out of breath. So I probably can't like really book it down a basketball court. But I mean, I'd at least, go walk laps with a bunch of people around the gym and then play horse. Or play volleyball. You don't have to do a lot of running for that. And, just do some light cardio first together without being horrible about it. I think that we need to start having things that target, like, especially like fitness classes that target people my weight that aren't like, hey, Weight Watchers, or, well, why don't you just go use the gym? And I'm like, because it's scary to do this by yourself, And it's really hard to play basketball by yourself. There's something about sports in general that bring people together that enhances, the whole idea of cooperation. And that's why, we actually, in the long run, why we value it so much. And the sports industry in general. Not because, the halftime show is coming up or the commercials, which I may or may not be looking forward to. But it's just that sense of being a part of something bigger. And there's nothing that I can find like that, at least not locally. I've looked at joining a meetup group or something like that. But again, like, I don't have time to take this initiative on by myself. Maybe if I had somebody to work it with, we could figure it out. So if anybody wants to hit me up, we can figure it out. But I don't know. I think there should be more things like that. I think there should be more opportunities, for people who are scared of starting this journey to start it together. And maybe people more like me who are halfway through the journey, to kind of lead it. So that way they don't feel like, oh, Miss Skinny Pants over here, she's going to lead us in some exercises today. Like, great, Miss Skinny Pants. Are you going to hurt in all the places I'm going to hurt when I do this exercise? Are you going to be mad at me when I scream out 4-letter words because I realize I shouldn't have done that exercise? Like, I think it needs to be an inter-community thing. And it's kind of hard to think of, all of the obese folks in, the US or even Cincinnati as a community, because I don't want to come off as sounding like we're celebrating the obesity. But I think celebrating our road to wellness would be a little thing that turns into a big thing. So that's my rant for the night. I'm going to continue this journey, and I know as I do, I'm finding more and more little things that are really big things that everybody just goes, oh, but to me they hurt. Like swiping 40 times to get to my weight. Oh, and when I open up that part of the Samsung app again, it shows the little digital version of my weight. But first, it starts out for 175, and then it runs up all the numbers until it gets to mine digitally. Yeah, thanks, Samsung. Thanks. But, Yeah. The little things that are the big things. So I've never done one of these before. I'm not really a YouTube person, but tonight I felt like I needed to get that off my chest and maybe connect with other people who have little things that are big things on their mind. So if you want to leave a comment, shoot me a message, that'd be great. Otherwise, I guess I'll let you guys know if I have more to rant about along the way. Or share successes, failures, setbacks, exciting news. Hopefully there's a little bit of all the above. Well rounded. Have a good night.